Good afternoon, welcome back to Innsbruck. I'm Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley alongside me. It's already been an action-packed day here in the Tyrol, but so much more to come. And up next, the final round for the Youth B combined. It is the lead competition, and Mike, we just saw quite a top-heavy boulder final for both the men and the women. Route Setters got a real challenge on their hands here.
Yeah, we're just talking to the team who's part of the rope route setting team, just saying, yeah, thanks guys. Pressure's on us now to get the result here for the first ever Olympic combined. Yeah, the bouldering round was a bit too easy, too many flashes. So going into this final, it's all going to be about this final route in the Olympic combined. It's really exciting.
Let's have a look at the starting list, and you can see there the routes. The men will be on the left climbing the blue volumes. You can just see the first half of that route, and that is the women there. It will be the men first. The women will be Luce Duardi, Saki Kikuchi, Nai Menyon, Futaba Ito, Mori and Natsuki Tani. And as I say, the men will climb first. They've just done their observation, and then as soon as they finish climbing, the women will instantly begin their observation, excuse me. And the order of climbers out onto the wall goes according to their current standing in the combined ranking. And there we see the men, Hidemasa Nishida. First out, Alberto Lopez will follow him, then Colin Duffy, winner of the Youth B lead. Earlier on this week, Ryaway Nakui and Semenov Chinikov and Ray Kawamata.
So the starting order is quite simple, really. Basically multiply your position in the speed times by your position in the boulder. It gives you your starting position in the lead, and that is the formula we're going to use. Times that by your position in the lead competition, and you get your overall ranking in to decide the Olympic combined format champion here in Innsbruck.
So out first, Hidemasa Nishida. Currently on 18. He can't actually win the title here. He's on 18. He was 6th in the speed and 3rd in the bouldering. 3x6 gives him a score of 18. So even if he gets first here, the lowest score he can get is 18. And that means he can't win.
So the bottom of this route, quite similar to the start of the section we saw last night in the junior male category, but been reset after the first 3 holes. A couple of the familiar volumes, but completely new route. Huge routes here in Innsbruck. We've seen a lot of moves packed in throughout the competition. Been up in the high 40s throughout the week. And these guys, incredible fitness. It's a real show of athletic skill. Higher, faster, stronger. We've seen the speed, we've seen the boulder. Now it's about the height. Who can get the highest on this route? Who can take out the first ever Olympic combined?
Hidemasa Nishida underway. As I say, can't win the competition. If we start talking about podiums and things, it gets much more complicated. He can't claim the gold, can make the podium. Very tight in the men's standings. As I say, you take your result from speed and you times it by your result from bouldering, and that is your current score. So for Hidemasa Nishida, that was 6th from the speed, so 6, and 3rd in the bouldering, 3, 6x3, 18, his current score. So not in the race for the gold, but absolutely in the race for the podium. Have to say, has an outside chance below him. Alberto Lopez with 15, Colin Duffy with 12, Ryaway Nakui with 6, Semenov Chinikov with 4, and Ray Kawamata with 3. Ray Kawamata 3rd in the speed and won the bouldering. So, settle down slightly and enjoy watching Hidemasa Nishida.
Yeah, that 6th place in the speeds really come back to hurt him, unfortunately, in the overall rankings.
Getting plenty of encouragement, as you'd imagine, around halfway on this Innsbruck wall 50 moves on this men's route. The route set has just made a minor adjustment from when they gave us our original route map. It was originally 51, but they've decided that a hold will not be used, so it's down to 50. So maximum score of 50 on the lead route.
Really impressive bit of climbing there from Hidemasa, employing a really high toe hook. That's great thinking. Managed to develop a rest out of a really tough position. The way he manages to factor in the feet work there just to be able to get something back into the forearms. These guys must be hurting now. Third discipline of the day already.
Yeah, fatigue, a major factor. Remember, the Youth B climbers did have a rest day yesterday. No action for them in yesterday's. My, oh my, they've had a full program today. More than made up for it. Speed climbing this morning then. 4 boulders. And now the lead route. Interestingly enough, on the boulders, all 6 climbers topped all 4 boulders. It was perhaps slightly too easy from the route setters, but so hard to judge.
Yeah, I think that means that the route setters for the rope climbing now have to really ramp up the difficulty, because they've got through the bouldering without too much trouble. It means they should be relatively fresh getting to this stage. Hidemasa then is into the top third of the route already, looking really good here. Managed to get a rest off the volume there. That's not actually scored that volume, so it's around moves 35, 36. Pushes through now onto the 36th hole. This is looking good from the Japanese athletes, looking very controlled at the moment up to this point.
Still looking in control.
Really impressive display of endurance, not only on this route but throughout the day. Great recovery between the rounds. Had to do a lot of warming up, warming down. Pushing out to hold 42 now. Is he going to get the clip, or is he going to push on? He's pushing on with ease already in this competition. Hopefully the route setters have made it hard enough. Move 50 is the top.
That's 44. 45. Hidemasa Nishida closing in on number 46. There it is. 4 more moves will see him on the top.
Next section looks really tough though. Hard boulder problem to finish here. He's looking pretty pumped. Has he got the power in the tank? He doesn't, as he goes again with the right hand.
That'll be a 46 plus, I believe, for Hidemasa Nishida.
Really good burn. It gives an indicator of the difficulty of this route. Really high up on the wall, but it's so hard to know exactly where these athletes would predictably fall off with this combined format. Big move out to the left there. Really impressive. Good to see the jump across. Once again, the Youth B climbers demonstrating awesome route reading skills, awesome technique.
Have a look. Final lunge out with the right hand.
Yeah, that hold he was going up to, that really open-handed slopey pinch. That stage in the route, he's so tired in the forearms. The hands just can't close in that sort of grip.
Gives you some idea of what the bouldering round was like for the men. Hidemasa Nishida was joint third with 4 tops in 5 attempts.
You can see the huge wall here in Innsbruck. It's the blue route that we're concentrating on the left-hand side. Purple and black just right of middle. That is going to be used for the female athletes in the Youth B. Straight after this competition, Alberto Lopez next then. Also could not win with his current best score being, well, his overall score being 15. So even if he was first, he cannot improve on that. 5th in the speed, 3rd in the bouldering. Playing for pride now then.
So here's Lopez, as we said, currently on 15. Needs to win it here in the lead and for things to go his way. With the other competitors, if he is to win, very much an outsider in the current rankings, you'd have to say, but it is mathematically just about possible.
Yep, quickly check that if he comes first. Current leader Ray Kawamata comes 6th. Mathematically possible to win. So Alberto Lopez started to look a little bit tired in the bouldering. Great commitment out onto the left-hand side there. With easy and slight hesitation, but made it work. We'll take this good rest now. Early boulder problem here in the route.
This man won the last European Youth Cup he won in bouldering, and the last European Youth Cup he entered in lead as well. Can absolutely top this route. Probably knows from the reaction of the crowd, or perhaps you could say the lack of reaction from the crowd, that Hidemasa Nishida didn't top the route. Probably also had a quick look at the quick draw swingy, although the wind in Innsbruck will affect that. All the quick draws will be swinging. Often climbers walk out and have a look which was the highest quick draw swinging from the previous climber's attempt, and then they have a rough idea where that climber got to. He's approaching mid-height here, that series of 4 volumes, the first of which he's just got his hands on, which marks midway point in terms of moves up the route. That's 25.
It's been a really enjoyable route session throughout all of the competition here this weekend. Some great displays of endurance, power, and some really, really fascinating results. The wall here in Innsbruck really leads itself to really high quality routes. Big wall, big shapes, big angles, lots of overhangs.
And so far he appears to be in cruise control here. As I say, current score of 15, 5th in the speed, 3rd in the bouldering. Remember, it's not, in terms of the combined ranking, it's not so much about your score here in the lead, as we're used to seeing in the World Cups and as we saw in the Youth World Championships. It's about how you rank relative to the other climbers. So you're not looking to bet necessarily just the highest score for those around you. Your ranking is all about how you do compared to the other climbers. Multi-discipline activity.
Feet just cut off on the left-hand side there as he squeezes that left pinch, looking for the options for the feet. You can see the head moving left to right. He's fighting hard now. You can see how bad that sloper is. He's going up to the right hand. Moves into the left hand, onto that nice pair. Holds 40 and 41. Goes out to 42. This is looking good.
He gets the clip. He's getting plenty of encouragement from the crowd. 46 plus, leading the way. Hidemasa Nishida set that high point. Last climber out. Alberto has flown through the lower section of this route and he's still going strong. Hidemasa Nishida will retain the lead.
So that means Alberto Lopez won't be able to take the overall win here. He won't be able to take first position as he could not match Hidemasa Nishida's high point.
Just wait to confirm the score, but it was certainly lower than Hidemasa. It's quite a spectacular piece of climbing lower down.
Just wait for the scores to come in as we have a look back at that replay. A lot of cutting loose there, a lot of power. These guys must be absolutely gassed by this stage in the competition.
This is where it came to an end. Went up with the right hand, couldn't quite hold it. I think just slightly low on the sweet spot of that hold.
So just 4 climbers left then in the male Youth B Olympic combined overall competition.
45 plus there for Hines Lopez. You can see it there. 46 plus for Hidemasa Nishida. Hidemasa can't win the competition. And now, neither can Alberto Lopez. This man can. Colin Duffy needs other climbers to do their bit. But a top here puts him in the reckoning. Been consistent in the 2 disciplines so far, 4th in speed, 3rd in the bouldering. And as of a couple of days ago, this is the reigning Youth World Champion in Youth B lead.
Colin Duffy put on a stunning performance the other night in the Youth B final. If you haven't caught that live stream, definitely go back to watch it. His top on that was one of the highlights of the competition here in Innsbruck, and his climbing in the bouldering round of this combined event was super impressive as well. Colin Duffy really seems to have made a name for himself this weekend. He's definitely one to watch out for This man starts to grow as well. Watch out, everybody else. He is on a rampage.
Certainly is. And a relatively reachy section for him. Low down on the men's route. He's still around hole 13-14. Long way to go. Current high point sitting at 46 plus, 45 plus. Currently second, Alberto Lopez. As ever in lead climbing, name of the game is to get as high as you can. And Colin Duffy, that's a high risk move from him. Really nicely done. He went with the left hand, and then just at the moment of commitment, he pushed that left hand even further over to make space for his right. Got the timing absolutely spot on. Nicely done.
Yeah, great confidence to go across with the left hand like he did there. There was one of the boulders in the competition had 2 dynos in it, and we thought he may struggle with them, but no such luck. He was absolutely flying. Looking so confident here again, and definitely taking his win away in the Youth B lead earlier on in this week has got to put him in psychologically a great position. He heads into the roots once again. Last time he was climbing on this wall, he was fist bumping the crowd at the very top. He's very, very familiar with this wall and climbing so well this week. Great support from the USA. Colin Duffy then, big moves, but cutting loose on pretty much every single move, but taking it all in a day's work at the moment. Definitely will take this opportunity to rest off the left heel. Right toes on a good hold. Pushes through with only a quick chalk. That's surprising. I thought he would have taken a bit more of a rest than that. Fantastic backdrop here. The venue in Innsbruck, absolutely stunning. See the hills in the mountains in the background starting to fight a little bit now. You can see the cheeks blow out as he pushes out to that left hold. Manages to find an opportunity to chalk the left hand. Cuts his feet once again. Being one of the shorter climbers, he really has to cut his feet every time. Moving around the corner now, getting close to holds 32 and 33. That's 34, this is looking good. 35 current high points, 10 moves above. 46 plus from Hidemasa Nishida. The clap in the arena starts for Colin Duffy then. What has he got left in the tank? Blasted through the speed. With 4th position, 3rd in the bouldering. Now has his left heel on, slightly risky left heel if he went for it, but chooses not to. Just drags that left pinch with the front 3 into the 2 slopers next. Goes for the wide pinch and falls short.
So that'll be 3rd highest on this route we've seen so far. Colin Duffy around the 41-42 hole mark. As I say, that'll put him in 3rd in the lead out of 3 so far. This was a big move out left. You see here, he went with the left, just shuffled it over, made room for the right. Nicely done.
It's a really good burn from Colin. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him on the podium.
Young man who's impressed a lot of people here in Innsbruck, and certainly a name I think we'll be hearing a lot more from. There, the competition wall in Innsbruck. The route setters had some task this week, covering that in multiple routes, and there we see Hidemasa Nishida leading the way on 46 plus, 45 plus for Alberto Lopez. Colin Duffy on 40 plus. So
the very best he can do at the moment would be 3rd. Obviously with 3 climbers out, that would leave him a total score of 36, which would be quite high up in the competition.
Things about to get very tight now. Ryuhei Nakui, 1st in the speed, last in the bouldering. That leaves him on 6, 1 by 6. Semenov Chinikov, 2nd in the speed, 2nd in the bouldering. He's on 4, and Ray Kawamata, 3rd in the speed, won the bouldering, so he's on 3. So 3 points for Kawamata, 4 for Ovchinikov, and 6 for Nakui, who is currently on the wall. As it stands, and it's, as I say, very much as it stands, Colin Duffy would be 5th. Hidemasa Nishida would be 4th.
Nikui then starting his campaign through the big section of open-handed volumes. Just trying to get through this early section as fresh as possible. Eyes up the big jug out to the left. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to take the jump. Hopefully we won't see any athletes falling off on that jump. It'd be a real shame to lose someone early on in the competition. We saw that out in Arco. The favourite for the competition, Alexander Magos, fell off on an early jump like that. It shows how nervous sometimes the climbers are, but no such nerves on the face of Nikui. Gamba Gamba, the local MCs asked of the crowd.
Ryaway Nikui in the hunt to win this Olympic format Youth B competition here in Innsbruck. And coping admirably thus far with the dynamic, slightly high risk, tension inducing moves. Low on this men's route. 46 plus leading the way, 45 plus for Alberto Lopez and Colin Duffy on 40 plus. He's still a long way short of those scores.
Managing to factoring a number of rests here. Ryaway Nikui as he tries to get through this route as efficiently as possible, because he knows there's going to be some hard moves higher up on the route. Big powerful move there as he moves up to that next big pinch with the right hand. Big amount of chalk build up on there. Won't be helping the friction too much, but it's a good hold. We saw that hold used last night in the A and junior finals. Starts to up the pace now, and as the DJ ups the pace on the music as well. Tries to get the right rhythm through this next section.
He's approaching hold 31. Still 15 or so moves short of where he needs to be if he wants to take the lead. Ryaway Nikui.
Looking fresh at this point, just taking the opportunity to shake out each hand. Very rarely on these routes do you see a hold big enough for both hands to rest both at once whilst holding onto good feet. Opting to wrap the right volume rather than the hold. Doesn't like the hold out on the right too much. It's just an open-handed crimp, but now he takes it and pushes on through with the left hand. Quick, efficient clipping. Stretches up to the right hand. I thought he was in a bit of trouble there. We saw Colin Duffy also nearly miss that. This is getting close to Colin Duffy's next point then with 40 plus, and he's off. Climbers falling lower and lower. Hidemasa Nishida's early high point of 46 plus is looking excellent. He may not have done so well in the bouldering, but he's also already looking good here with a 46 plus high point. Let's have another look at that earlier jump. It wasn't here that caught him out really. It was much higher on the route. The pump just really seemed to build up. The fatigue kicked in, and you do wonder, after two disciplines already this morning with the speed and the bouldering, how tired he actually is coming up into this top section. You can see the method. He looked like he was just struggling with the feet. It was the right foot that caused him issues. Hard to watch. You can see his right foot just wiggling all around the hold, never sat comfortably on it.
You can see it there, puts him into fourth place, 39th. So 39 holds, fourth place for him. That's just pure fatigue really, when you've got that full body fatigue. That ability to just lock the shoulders as you swing your foot in position just disappears. You can't hold the position as you might have done when you're fresh. Worth bearing in mind, it's now 5.25 hours since the speed climbing started this morning. If you take into account that the climbers generally take at least an hour to warm up, they'll have started climbing on the warm-up wall around 6 hours ago earlier on today. That's more like a Tour de France stage than a climbing competition.
Well, like you say, Charlie, it just seems to take it out of all different aspects of your body, and that sort of move, you can see the fatigue in the core as he tried to bring that right foot up. You can just feel the burn from here in the abs just as he tried to lift that foot onto the foothold. It's a tiny foothold at best.
Just to let you know where that leaves Ryaway Nikui. If he is not surpassed by Semenov, Chinnikov and Ray Kawamata, and he ends where he currently is in fourth place, he will have 24 points. So the win is gone for him.
Semenov then starts his campaign. Second in the speed, second in the boulder, very consistent athlete. Puts him through with a score of 4 going into the final. That puts him in current second position, and opting for the double arm wrap on that ginormous volume there. Be a good way to conserve a bit of energy.
Yeah, Semenov Chinnikov second in the youth B bouldering earlier on this week. Second in the bouldering again today, and second in the speed. Super consistent performance. Currently surpassed in the rankings only by Rei Kawamata.
That was good from that close-up angle we saw. They could see the whites of his eyes staring at that hold out onto the left. Knew what he had to do, a really nervous moment. It's a real opportunity for these climbers going forward to 2020. Opportunity to really tackle this Olympic combined format.
Semenov Chinnikov, if he's second here again, he'll have a score of 8. 2 for the speed, times by 2 for the bouldering is 4, times by 2 for the lead would be 8. So consistency, second would net him 8 points, and it would mean that anything other than a win for Rei Kawamata would make Semenov Chinnikov the victor here. That's a whole lot of ifs and buts. Just goes to show what consistency can do here. It is a multi-discipline event. We talked about it earlier on in the bouldering. You don't want to burn yourself. You don't want to give absolutely everything to every single boulder. If you think it's a hopeless cause, maybe it's worth just leaving it, because you've still got this to go, the lead climbing. How much will we see that tactical thinking come into it as we see the juniors and the youth A climbers taking on this Olympic format?
I think we're going to see a lot of those tactics come over in the next few years as well. People figuring out the best way to tackle each of the rounds. Speed boulder, then lead.
Well, we see it in, for example, bouldering, where we have the qualification round and the semis and the final, so 3 rounds for the climbers to negotiate. And often you can tell that some of the top climbers who know they've made the semi-finals have a couple of go on the last qualifying boulder, but don't really give it everything they've got. No scope for that here, unless you're supremely confident in the lead climbing.
To really see Semenov Chinnikov using the long limbs of his wisely to stretch in between the holds. We saw that from him earlier on in the week, just stretching between the holds, try not to burn energy using intermediate holds where it's not necessary.
Current high point of 46 plus. Semen around the 36 mark, about 10 moves to go before he could take a provisional lead. You can see just pulling the rope up quickly and beginning to grimace, having to mess around with that quick draw, not what you need. Pump really beginning to kick in now.
Yeah, that's really not helped him as he moved up into hold 39. Charlie said it's 46 plus that's leading the way. We've seen a couple of athletes fall on this next section though. Seems to be all about the feet. He's got the right foot on, which is super key, and he moves up with the left hand, hits the hold completely in the wrong spot. Seems to be left of where all the chalk was and falls off. Hopefully we'll be able to have another look at what happened there. He just had his left hand up. He seemed to be really bunched up with both his feet really high.
So this was lower down. That's where the effort really started to take its toll. It was about around hole 20. Very physical men's route here in the Youth B. And this was him just correcting on hold 40 and going up towards 41.
He never looked completely comfortable on the right hand. It was the feet that caused him some problems. They were so high they were on, but he needed to get that hold with the left hand as a pinch on the far right of the hold. Maybe he didn't see where the chalk build-up was, where the route set has been holding it during the competition. Semenov Chinnikov then is going to be kicking himself with that. He looked relatively fresh up to that stage.
So that does give him a score of 41. No ties yet at this stage. 46 plus for Hidemasa and Ishida. Alberto Lopez 45 plus. Semenov Chinikov, we've just seen him, 41. Colin Duffy just below him on 40 plus, and Raiway Nakui 39. Last climber out, Rei Kawamata.
So if he finds a high point here, he takes the win with a score currently leading into this of grand total of 3. Third in the speed, first in the boulder. 3 times 1, obviously 3 in total. So if he wins here, he takes away the first ever Olympic combined overall.
The first ever competition using this Olympic format. Rei Kawamata comes out with the simple but not easy task of winning the lead to win the competition. Finishing lower down might still do the job, but certainly make life a lot easier for him if he could just top the route, make it certain, no need to do the maths. Rei Kawamata now heading up towards that big Austria climbing volume. That's hole 20 he's got his hand on. Semenov Chinikov will be watching this nervously.
Rei Kawamata then, great climbing up to this point this weekend. Third in the speed, but the speed is so tight. Can just be seconds between the places. Took away the first in the bouldering. That's put him in this last position going into the lead competition. It's his to lose at this stage.
Yeah, and he's looking pretty solid, albeit slightly fatigued from his exertions. He's had a full Youth World Championship and then all 3 disciplines today. Add into the mix international travel, hotels, different beds, different foods. It's a pretty taxing event, but this is it for him. What an achievement to add to your CV. First ever winner of an Olympic format competition in climbing.
Not a bad way to end your week's work, that's for sure. But he's got a lot to do here. It's an incredibly hard route. A lot of different options. You can see him using the options there, thinking on his feet, literally using the right toe there out wide. A little bit of a struggle here at the bottom, just trying to find the right options. Gets it in now, goes up with the left hand. Has to make a really hard move through with the right. We saw other climbers go for the right hand, then right hand again. This is where the route really starts to kick in. This is where they start to struggle.
Yeah, you can
crosses through the hole. 36 is in big trouble here. Oh, he's really, really in trouble. Manages to save it somehow and he's off.
Rei Kawamata, he came out looking to top the route, looking to win.
That was the lowest score that we've seen. Quickly doing the maths. Everyone frantically goes to their pens and paper to get to the calculations.
The MC just waiting for the score come through, as we all are. Let's have a look at it now. Rei Kawamata down there, 36, that's 6th place for him. Colin Duffy ended up 4th. So, by my reckoning, that makes Semenov Chinikov the overall winner here today. 3rd place for him to add to 2nd and 2nd in the speed and bouldering. So second in the speed times second in the bouldering equals 4, times 3 in the lead equals 12.
Yep, we can confirm that Semenov Chinnikov then takes away the Olympic combined, 12th for him. Hidemasa Nishida 18 alongside Ray Kawamata also on 18. Pretty sure Ray will take away the second position. Overall better scores for him through the 3 rounds with a third and a first. Hidemasa with a 6th and a third.
Yeah, just to confirm actually, if we do have a tie such as we do, we believe, between Hidemasa Nishida and Ray Kawamata, it comes down to head-to-head events.
Which is going to be interesting because they've both had a 6th, third and a first, so it's tough maths to figure out who takes away that one. Let's another look at Alberto. He's been great all the way through this competition.
Just hear it announced to the crowd now. Semenov Chinnikov, second, third across the 3 disciplines. Absolutely the kind of performance you need to succeed in this sort of format. Didn't burn himself out in any one discipline. Didn't blow the field away in any one discipline. But consistency has done it for him. And let's have a look at the scores. And there we see it.
Semenov Chinnikov takes away the win, then Ray Kawamata currently given second, Hidemasa Nishida down in third. Ryo Mikui in fourth. Alberto, we just saw highlights of there.
Yeah, just to confirm, Hidemasa Nishida actually on 24. I had him down at 18 originally. But it is Ray Kawamata on 18. So there you see it, Semenov Chinnikov, the first person in history to win an Olympic format climbing competition. Ray Kawamata in second and Hidemasa Nishida in third.
Really interesting then, the first ever Olympic combined. Everyone was running for their calculators for a second. This is a new format before the 2020 Olympics. And it was consistency that was the key in the end. Second and a third. Semenov Chinnikov takes away the win, even though he didn't win any of the 3 rounds.
I think the way to think about this is a bit like we see, say, the heptathlon or the decathlon in the Olympics. The whole point is that you don't necessarily excel in one discipline. Hey, it's great if you do, but you don't have to. The key is to be the best all-round athlete. And Semenov Chinnikov, I don't think anybody could dispute that, having not been outside the top 3 in any of the disciplines, that he was the best all-round athlete here today. And as I say, he becomes the first climber in history to win an Olympic format competition.
Long may it continue for him as well. He really deserved that, put in a good show.
So up next we've got the women's Youth B lead. We've already seen them in the speed and we've already seen them in the boulder. Currently leading the way for them is Natsuki Tani. 2 for her current score, first in the speed, second in the bouldering.
Yeah, she also took away the great results throughout the week as well. Mori in this category took away the lead competition win with a top just a few days ago. She's sitting in with a score of 5 as a total at the moment. So very, very close. Second, 2, 5 and 6 between the top 3. Just as we wait for the women's competition to start, we'd have a little look at some replays from that male Youth B final round. That's Colin Duffy, and what a great competition from him. He'll be coming out to fight another day. Took away 6th position in the overall in the end. 4th, a third and a 4th. Has taken away a gold medal this weekend though, so his trophy cabinet will be looking shiny as he goes home back to the States. There we can see the female athletes are out. There is 6, it's 4 Japanese go through in the overall and 2 French. 4 Japanese working together there on the route read. They have just 6 minutes to have a look at the routes, taking in all of the sequences. See the rope running through the quick draws there. That gives an indicator of where the route goes for the climbers. Purple holds at the bottom, black volumes and white volumes through the middle. Same section of wall that we saw the Youth A final and the Junior final for the women last night. If you didn't catch that, Brooke Rabatu and Ashima Shirashi putting a stellar performance on the female A category. Ashima winning in the end. Ashima Shirashi taking away the gold once again on the lead and on the boulder. Some of the climbers adopting to use the binoculars then. Try and scope out the route. Sometimes these routes are so hard to read from the ground. They can just do everything they can in their 6 minutes, but sometimes these routes you just have to feel it out when you get there, and sometimes the key is being able to problem solve on the move. Quick calculation, a true on-site experience. On-site being the term that climbers use to climb the route first time with no prior goes on the route. Only looking at the route from the ground before heading off. A real skill to being a really good on-site climber. Calculation, thinking on your feet, moving efficiently between the sections without too much change in the beta as you move.
First good look here at the women's route. Takes in all sorts of colours, very aesthetic route. Starts out on purple holds with sections of white, and then it's a few more purple holds, and generally they give way to black volumes, and still the white holds continue. Purple, black and white. Slightly easier to make out the holds than it has been on some of the routes we've seen this week. Sometimes the route testers have used big black volumes and then added small black holds onto them. It has made life quite tricky, not only for us but also for the athletes. I'm pleased to say this time route works aesthetically, and also for those of us without eagle-eyed vision, we can still make out the key holds.
Yeah, we've got a good position here in the commentary box on a raised platform. A couple of stories up, means we get quite close to the routes. Just off to the right-hand side of this fantastic facility here in Innsbruck. Organisers here put on a great show, been here for a very long time. Route has been here for a few weeks. Generally speaking, it's been a very, very well organised competition. Putting a lot of preparation ready for the Senior World Championships in 2018. Get your tickets booked now for that one. Multiple venues used around the city of Innsbruck. Different stadiums, parts of the huge facility here. It's hard to believe the facility is not big enough even for the World Championships. It's huge here, biggest in the world, but still they'll be using new arenas around the city, packing thousands and thousands of spectators. If you do have the opportunity to come, I highly recommend it. Fantastic town.
And we mentioned it earlier with the bouldering, actually, during the observation. Not as much communication as we often see in IFSC observation periods, because with 4 Japanese climbers and 2 French, inevitably they're going to be split into that 4 and that 2. Not much in the way of common language, and you see it there, the 2 French climbers, Luce Duardi and Nai Mignon, just discussing it and then going their separate ways to have a final study themselves. Team Japan well equipped with binoculars.
42 moves then, that's what they need the binoculars for. 42 moves to see the final holds on this route. 42 seems to be around roughly the right sort of number of moves for the 6 minutes period. Saw up to 50 moves in the men's route, but sometimes the number of actual moves can be slightly misleading to how long it's going to take the route, because you get a lot of intermediate holds, a lot of matching. Depending on the way the sequence was set, the match can either be 1 score or 2. See, they seem to have the same method there, arms moving in sequence. do wonder at this stage in the competition. The French athletes here, they struggled a little bit in the bouldering. 5th for Manon then, and 6th for Luce Duardi in the bouldering. I wonder if what their recovery has been like between the rounds. Can they hold off the onslaught from the Japanese? Must be incredible pressure from them. Just 2 French trying to hold back 4 Japanese. Observational period has finished then. They move off the stage.
Christophe Bion, our technical delegate, ushers them off the stage. We're pretty much ready to go. And there we see it. That is the starting order. As I say, it's in reverse order for where the athletes currently stand. Luce Duardi, Saki Kikuchi, Nai Manon, Futaba Ito, Mori, Natsuki Tani, Japan, by virtue of having 4 athletes in that final 6, already guaranteed at least 1 medal. You'd have to say a big surprise if they didn't take more than that. But they are guaranteed at least 1.
Just a few minutes then for Luce Duardi to get out of the observational kit and into her outfit ready, get the shoes on, get prepared, have that final moments of rest the mind, come out calm, ready to tackle this super endurance based routes. 42 moves ahead of her. Men's route worked out pretty much perfectly. Nobody that close to a top.
Yeah, we got to within 3 and a bit moves.
3 and a bit moves, 3 and a bit very hard moves. Still to go on that route. It was 47 plus, I think it was, that took the win in the lead category. 42 moves, as we said, in the women's then. Completely new route here. None of the climbers would have been on any of these moves previously.
Wall looking resplendent here in Innsbruck, and I'm pleased to say the bad weather has held off. Have to say, with my amateur interest in mountain weather, I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last. But pretty certain that these 6 women will all climb on the lead wall and complete their competition before the bad weather arrives. And then we have a lot more action to come. Change of schedule, if you had originally looked at our schedule. We now have the Youth A speed qualification this afternoon. That was supposed to be tomorrow, but it's been brought forward to today, just because the organisers are worried about the bad weather tomorrow and they're trying to minimise the amount of climbing taking place tomorrow, which has the potential to be affected by rain. So they brought forward the Youth A speed climbing to today. It's going to take place from 16:30, 4:30 p.m. onwards here in Innsbruck.
All the facilities here are under big roofs, as you can see there, especially the overhangs. No issues with the rain coming onto the holes directly unless a huge wind kicks up.
I've just been told
got a few minutes delay here before the start of the competition, so we're just having a little look as to when exactly the start's going to be. Not a million miles away, few minutes off the start.
Yeah, you can see, it gives you some insight when you see that number of volumes on a route. It gives you some insight to what hard work route setting is. Not only psychologically, you have to try and figure out the correct level, make the routes progressively harder so that we get a good spread of scores, but also physically, those volumes only get up there one way, albeit these days we've got a cherry picker to get them up there, but someone's still got to hold them over their head and drill them into the wall. It's an awfully physical job. Route setter's done a wonderful job to provide not only high quality routes but very aesthetic ones. They're all looking wonderful here in Innsbruck.
Yeah, the route setters themselves, if they're competing, would be fantastic athletes. Such great fitness for these guys. got to be as well. Got an extremely physical job. Done a great job this week.
Just been told that we have got a 5-minute wait until the first climbers are out in this Youth B final. The first climber out will be Luce Duardi. And first, here's a quick look at a climber that knows a thing or two about women's lead climbing, Jane Kim.
저는 한국의 클라이머 김자인이고요. 올해로 클라이밍 한 지 16년째 접어들고 있습니다. 처음 클라이밍을 시작했을 때는 굉장히 무서움이 너무 컸어서 이렇게까지 오랫동안 클라이밍을 할 수 있을지 몰랐는데 아무래도 클라이밍이 처음에는 재밌어서라기보다는 뭔가 내가 잘하고 싶은 욕심에 열심히 했던 것 같아요. 근데 하다 보니까 클라이밍의 매력에 푹 빠져 있었고, 네, 지금은 클라이밍이 너무 재밌어요. 솔직히 저는 제가 이 자리에 있는 게 굉장히 신기할 때가 많아요. 왜냐면은 처음에 월드컵 처음 출전했을 때 41등 예선 탈락으로 월드컵을 시작했고 처음부터 굉장히 눈에 띄는 선수가 아니었기 때문에 굉장히 세계 랭킹 1등에 있는 선수들을 보면은 너무 신기하고 정말 신 같고 그랬는데 제가 그 자리에 있다는 게 아직도 되게 신기할 때가 많고, 네, 그런 것 같아요. 이제 사람들이 제 등반을 보면서 되게 부드럽게 등반한다고 많이 말씀을 해주시는데 그게 뭔가 제가 그렇게 하려고 막 노력을 했다기보다는 그냥 클라이밍 할 때 어떤 편안한 느낌을 자연스럽게 쫓아가다 보니까 그런 저만의 등반 스타일이 만들어진 것 같습니다. 2004년부터 이제 월드컵에 출전했지만은 그때도 그렇고 지금도 그렇고 목표가 월드 랭킹 1등은 아니에요. 하지만은 정말 그냥 제가 주어진 것에 최선을 다하고 또 모든 순간을 즐겁게 클라이밍하고 대회도 역시 모든 순간에 최선을 다해서 또 완등을 위해서 클라이밍을 하는 게 제 목표입니다. 즐거움을 주는 그런 클라이머로 기억되고 싶고요. 사람들이 저의 클라이밍 하는 모습을 보면서 아, 정말 클라이밍이 정말 재밌고 매력 있는 스포츠구나 하는 거를 알 수 있는 그런 클라이밍을 하고 싶습니다.
Perfectly timed then from Jane Kim once again. First climber is out, Luce Duardi in the third discipline, the final round of this, the Youth B overall Olympic combined competition. First one of its kind that we've seen in climbing to date. Very exciting weekend here in Innsbruck. Luce Duardi then placed 6th in the bouldering, 4th in the lead, currently has a grand total of 24.
Just running through the route. Remember, she does have an individual observation time. You saw the group observation time. Just checks, perhaps with her coaches and the judges, that everything is as it should be, and she can get underway.
Luce Duardi pulls on then, starts her campaign. Full of excitement, as always, up here in the commentary box.
Yeah, it's extraordinary to see this new format in place. It's a funny journey, really, because it was talked about climbing being the Olympics, and then it looked like it was going to get it, and then it was actually confirmed, and suddenly here we are trying out the format.
All seems very real all of a sudden. Up to this point, it's just been, like you say, a discussion, a lot of work behind the scenes on the rules, the intricacies, the ins and outs of what's going to happen. But here we have it. It's real. It's happening. 2020 is on its way. It's our first opportunity to see how it's going to work. And it was in the men's. Semenov Chinnikov from Russia who took it away. And now it's chance for the women. Will it be France or Japan? Just two nations represented on the final. Into the lead then. The lead is the final discipline that decides it. Lustuadi and Saki Kikuchi already scores of 24. Current four standing 15, then 6, 5 and 2. First look at this women's route then. 42 moves ahead of Lustuadi. She's already up to move 13. That's move 14.
42 in total.
Just a quick correction there, it was 18, sorry. Exactly the same hold used lower down. Confused me for a second there.
Yeah, route setters not being especially sympathetic with us there. Charlie Bosco, Mike Langley here in the commentary box, midway through what is an epic day of rock climbing competition here in Innsbruck. And getting very close to the conclusion of the Youth B Olympic format climbing. This is the women on their final event. We've already seen the conclusion of the men.
Lustuadi then moving into the 24th hold now. Looking in great shape here after a slightly disappointing bouldering round for her just a few hours before. Ending up in last position at the end of that. Has a look now, big move out to the left required. Has a look at the options for the left heel. Pushes out for it, snares it, fingertips, manages to claw it in. Huge blobs through this next section. Really 3D climbing. Make sure she doesn't get the rope tangled underneath it. Does well to avoid that. Will definitely start to try and wrap the legs here. Goes for the full leg wrap on the right foot. Ruse's offering a bit of a rest here. Finding a bit of a rest there between the left knee and the right calf. Very 3D climbing. You see a lot of that outdoors on the big tufas and stalactites that you see in places like Kalimnos. Sure, Lustuadi would be very familiar with this style.
Got to say, Kalimnos feels a long way away. Temperature plummeting here in Innsbruck. The wind picking up, the sky turning black. Lustuadi came into this round, the lead round, in 6th combined from the speed of the bouldering, and is off.
That's a really good effort. Was flying up to hold on the volume there.
34, I think she was heading for there.
Yeah, that's interesting. That next volume, as far as I can tell from here, it's just nothing on it. We're having another look. See it on the top right of your screen there. Just fires up to the volume itself. Climbers are going to have to use a lot of power through the legs to get the height to be able to wrap that volume comfortably enough. She just powered up to it and came skidding off. There really was nothing to hold on to there apart from the volume itself. So it's going to be a really interesting point. See if that's going to be enough for Lustuadi.
24 points for her so far. She was 4th in the speed, 6th in the bouldering. 4 by 6 gives you 24.
She can't win the competition here, but she could potentially win this round. It's 34 plus as it stands for her. 34 plus out of potential 42, so a good burn. These athletes so tight in terms of their positions all the way through the rounds.
Saki Kikuchi makes her way onto the route. Same 2 numbers as Lustuadi, but on opposite disciplines. She was 6th in speed and 4th in the bouldering. gives her 24. Gets a big introduction from the venue MC and a warm round of applause.
I'm sure she knows already that she can't take away the win here today. Other medals still up for grabs though. Playing for pride.
It's worth noting that the first 3 climbers out, Luce Duardi, who we've already seen, Saki Kikuchi, who's currently on the wall, and Nae Mignon, none of those 3 can take the gold medal. Things get very complicated when you start thinking podiums, but none of them can win the gold medal. Saki Kikuchi now onto the simple volumes. Holds 13 and 14. As we mentioned, 42 to the top.
Saki Kikuchi in 4th in the bouldering. We'll be looking to improve on that here in the lead. Just looking very relaxed up to this stage. I've said it before, we've said it again, just how much resistance these guys need to the physical exertion through these rounds. The skin must be burning. The speed competition itself takes a lot out of the body, especially the skin. Competing all week as well, just to add insult to injury.
Here's Saki Kikuchi. Cadence fairly slow at this stage. Remember, 6 minutes for the climbers. And she's setting a pretty conservative pace at this stage. Probably needs to find a bit of speed from somewhere. Inevitably, the climbers speed up somewhat in the top half just as the pump kicks in, and suddenly you're trying to get a couple of extra moves, but could do with a little more speed, you would think, at this stage.
Yeah, that point in the route when you get pumped, you're really just trying to race the pump to the top. Trying to stop the forearms closing in on you. Managed to get a good rest there. You can see the route setters have got big white chalk tick marks to guide the climbers onto that section. It's amazing how small the climbers look when they start climbing on this magnificent structure here. Goes through move 23 then. Got to go up with the right hand. No issue as the DJ ramps up the volume here in the arena. Good crowd gathered to watch the final round of this Youth B overall competition. We will have the juniors later on today and the A speed. Still full day's action ready for you.
You've got enough action normally to fill an entire World Cup, still to come today. What a day it's been. Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here, existing on ginger tea and throat lozenges, but luckily being very well entertained, and Saki Kikuchi just about sticking that move out to the left.
Yeah, Kikuchi looked like she was just unsure of the method there. Went for the sort of left thigh wrap on that earlier foothold. Really means she had to try hard to get the height. Usually you would see climbers put their foot on the hold to help spring off that, but go up to the next hold. She went for the thigh wrap. I do wonder if there's early signs of fatigue here. She moves into the top half of the route, chasing down 34 plus set by Luce Duardi. Currently around 29 on the wall at the moment, but managing to find this good rest. She's actually into a double knee scum there. That's good climbing, that's good technique. We saw Luce Duardi developing the right leg wrap. She's moving on though, wasting no time, not taking the rest as much as the French athlete did, Duardi.
Saki Kikuchi, you can just tell from her slightly more jerky movements that she's just beginning to fight fatigue here. She's heading up towards the high point though. And there it is.
Hits the right hand with decent conviction. This is the next move then. It's just about this volume. Oh, makes it look like a really good hold. That was really impressive. We were wondering how that sequence was going to go. Needs to get off of the left toe now and start to spin the feet round to the right. Does well. Look at the flexibility. Oh, that was a really good effort. Firing up to move 36. Great flexibility there, and that was a good berm from Saki Kikuchi. I think that's going to put her in a good position in this lead competition.
Yeah, that'll be 35 or 35 plus, depending on the generosity of the judges. I think that'll be a plus myself. let's have a look. This was earlier on.
You see she's really gone for sort of Achilles wrap there. Hit it with her left hand, managed to save it. Quick spin of the feet. This is the upper section where she displayed some fantastic flexibility. Hit this hold, hit it hard, hit it well. Thumb locked into the left hand side to get the pinch. Manages to make a lot of this volume. Keeps the left toe in for everything it's worth. Takes a lot of weight off the arms. Fires up. She was really clamped in on those feet though, and that meant that when she went up she lost a little bit of height.
So Saki Kikuchi is done here in Innsbruck, and you see it there. She is awarded the plus, 35 plus for her. The plus, of course, signifies that she didn't just reach hold 35 plus, she positively moved off it. It would be 35 flat if you just reached a hold and fell off. The plus signifying that you're making a positive movement away from that hold upwards on the route. Out next, Naïa Manon of France. So Naïa Manon is underway and climbing very quickly. We saw Saki Kikuchi there setting a relatively slow pace. Didn't end up being timed out, but with only 6 minutes to go, you do need to think about your cadence, the speed at which you're climbing the moves. 6 minutes, 42 moves, you can do the maths. Need to keep on moving. That's her on hold 10. Only been climbing around 40 seconds. So good speed at this stage. Fatigue, of course, becoming an issue after a full Youth World Championship plus 3 disciplines today. So a huge part of it is just keeping on moving.
A well-deserved rest for these athletes coming up after the end of this competition. They really will need it, but they will go back into a training phase, ready for the remaining competitions. The season, action-packed season as always for the athletes, travelling all around the world, week in, week out.
Naïa Manon absolutely flying up this women's route. It's about 1:30 she's been on the wall now. She's approaching the halfway mark of the route, which is the top of the second triangular volume that you can just see coming into the top of your shot. That black volume, once she gets to the top of that, she's halfway up the route. Plenty of time remaining and has earned the right to take a bit of a pause here.
Yeah, it doesn't look completely happy with that next section. Just trying to find the method on the right hand. Just see her sliding there. You think the skin must be pretty tired by this stage in the event. Needs to go further down on left. There's a big tick mark for her there, but she's coming up a little bit short. Tiredness definitely a factor here. She flips to the right hand. That's good. Now she gets it to work, but burned a lot of energy in that sequence. She started to look really tired on the bouldering on boulders 3 and 4. Hopefully she will take a moment here to get some oxygen back in the tank. Try and get some recovery through the forearms. Firing up into the next section now, 23, 24.
Just looked as if she needs to regain a bit of composure there.
She may have seen that next section up with the 2 giant purple stalactites. Maybe she'll try and head there to try and get some recovery, blast through this section until she gets to that point. They would have calculated where the rests were on the routes.
Getting plenty of encouragement from the French crowd. You can hear them. Allez, allez.
Fighting again. This is the move where we nearly lost the Japanese athlete Saki Kikuchi. Manages to stick it nicely though into this really physical section. She's gone for sort of a massive wrap on the right arm. Probably needs to flip that round to an undercut to make it work. Neat work with the right foot though. Drops it nicely into a toe catch. If she can get herself up a little bit higher now, she will start to figure out there's a good rest there. We saw Kikuchi dropping into a double knee bar. Looks like she's found it. Much better now.
Now she shakes out couple of sections there where you could see she was just beginning to rest, heading towards the end of her comfort zone. She's a bit further into it now though, powering through onto the upper section here in Innsbruck. This will be her last action of a busy week, and she's still fighting, and she is off.
You could see the way that she went for that left hand. She started with it in the conventional grip that she needed. The pump was kicking in, so she'd locked the thumb over the fingers to try and clamp it down. Sure sign that she was completely boxed. The right hand went up into the undercut, but the biceps and the body had completely given out by that point. Good performance all round today for her.
Yes, certainly no lack of effort, that's for sure. Gave that one absolutely everything she had.
You can see the final moment here. Just exploded off of the wall. Like you said, she gave it absolutely everything. She can go and take a well-deserved rest.
And you can see they're just breathing almost a sigh of relief to think, well, it's over. What a marathon day she's had. As I say, if you include the warm-up, there will have been climbing, moving, psychologically in the zone for over 7 hours today.
Well, and also the competition started at 9 AM, so they've had to get up pretty early to get the food on board, get the breakfast on board quite early to make sure there's no issues with kind of full stomach, feeling heavy as they go into the speed. So hopefully they can manage to get an early night last night. So many factors to come into play for this overall discipline. Really interesting. This is new for everybody.
Out next will be Futaba Ito. Now she absolutely is in the reckoning to win this competition. The first 3 climbers that we saw out were not able to win, but Futaba Ito, who won the bouldering in the IFSC Youth World Championship earlier this week in the Youth Bs, was 3rd in the bouldering, 2nd in the speed. Exceptionally consistent so far. Comes out in a jacket, as I say, temperature really beginning to drop here.
She has just 40 seconds then to scope out the route for one last time before heading up 15 vertical meters height gain. Not 100% sure the total distance you end up climbing due to the amount of overhang, but 42 moves in total, incredibly steep terrain. Incredible athletes here in the Youth B category.
35 plus. Currently the high mark set by Saki Kikuchi, who've had 3 climbers. Luce Duardi scored 34 plus and 31 plus for Nai Manon. Now it is Futaba Ito, many people's favourites to win here, and underway in the lead. Rage Against the Machine echoes around the venue.
Good vibes this week from the DJ, kept everybody on their feet, kept them moving, kept the psych high.
Yeah, he's won some, lost some, the DJ. Hit it absolutely perfectly this time. Futaba Ito just trying to stay in her zone. She won't be hearing the music. She's got a job to do. She could be the first woman to ever win an Olympic format climbing competition. Semenov Chinikov, the first man to do so, just moments ago. Matching on those simple volumes, heading to the slight change of angle.
Quite hard to see that left hand white crimp that she's got completely blends in with the background. This is where we saw now Manon just struggling a little bit to find the left foot. She wasn't too happy in this position. Futaba Ito then managing to factor in a decent rest. Has the left foot on, then pounces up with the left hand. That's good. No issues with the sequence through that section. Just shakes off the right hand, trying to get everything back. Every move critical here.
Around halfway now, that top triangular volume that she's got her right hand on marks roughly the halfway mark of the route. Climbing nicely so far. She's been climbing 2 minutes 35. I'm afraid we don't have access to the official clock, the official timekeepers, but I have been starting the stopwatch on my phone. And it's not the official time, but my time, which can't be too far off, is 2:55, so just over half her time remaining.
Futaba Ito then looked really comfortable going out into the left hand. Looks like she's got bags of power still remaining. This could be a really possible challenge for a high point on this route. Fantastic week going into this competition, full of energy. Media team have been following her around, following her every move.
Natsuki Tani really in the driving seat to win this competition, but Futaba Ito absolutely up there with her. Now she clips into the real meat of the route. 35 plus the current high point. And she's closing in on that.
Here we go then, this is the move that we saw Lustuadi struggling on, but no such issues for Futaba Ito. Sticks with the left heel method. That's going to be a new high point.
That is a new high point, that's 36. So Futaba Ito takes the lead, 2 climbers to come after her. She's had a packed day of climbing. Has she got another move left in her? She reaches out to the left. She has got another move.
That was really nice. She moved really statically out and left. She's just struggling to bring the feet up now. Manages to get both hands on that. That's hold 39.
This is an incredible fight from Futaba Ito, and it's just that slap up with the left hand that proves to be too much.
Good chance that'll be a score of 40 plus. She gave it absolutely everything. Looks completely gassed when she comes down. Still manages to give the bow to the crowd. Really good fight, and I thought she could have been in for a shout there. Let's have another look. This is the lower section. She was full of power at this stage.
This is a big committing move out to the left off to hold 27. And then this was the move where she reached hold 35. It's a move after where she secured the lead. You can see how brutal this women's route gets. Those last few moves
just gets harder and harder and harder up there in the top head wall. That's the style that we expect on these routes. Definitely doesn't get easier towards the top as you may wish for, but it just gets harder and harder and harder. That's what we want. We want hard routes. We want these athletes challenged.
And there we see it for Futaba Ito's new high point is 39 plus. Saki Kikuchi 35 plus. Lustuadi 34 plus. And Nai Menyon 31 plus. Mori and Natsuki Tani still to come. There is Mori. So she was 5th in the speed, but then came top in the bouldering. So that gives her a current score of 5. 5th times 1st, 5 times 1, 5. So Mori on her way. Very evocative music from the DJ.
Just trying to figure what film that's from.
Chariots of Fire.
There we go.
Oh, that would
good knowledge.
Yeah, that would have driven me mad. Phew, we got there in the end. So Mori underway. Men on the wall about 30 seconds. And up to hold number 12, so no issues at all with pace. She was to win here, she'd have a final score of 5. In which case, second for Natsuki Tani would still win Natsuki Tani the title, because that would, second for her would give her a score of 4. So Mori, all she can do is take the lead here and then watch her compatriot come out.
Mori had an incredible round in the Youth B competition in the lead so far this week in the World Championships. Obviously this is a completely separate competition. Only climber to top the semi-final route, top the final route, 1 on the countback. 3 Japanese took the top on that final route. It's been unstoppable on the lead so far this week. Can't help but think this is going to be right up her street, this route, a really endurance-based route, quite a few rests. The amount of endurance that she's got, I'm sure she'll be enjoying those rests. Can we see someone pass Futaba Ito's result of 39 plus?
I have to say the route setters have done an absolutely stellar job, especially in the lead climbing here. Just to go back to the men's quickly, we had a complete spread of scores, no ties at all in the lead climbing in the men, and as yet none in the women either. So superb job from the lead route setters.
Well, we're talking to Reini Fichtinger, the head route setter on the lead, just earlier before this round started. Just concentrating on Mori on this hard move out left. This is the first real separation move. She's looking for an options straight up. If she bumps that left foot around that left hold, you think it might put her in a position, but goes for an incredibly show of flexibility on the left leg, drops the left knee, moves out to the right hold with no issues in the end. That's the first time we've seen that move done with a drop knee. To go back to what I was saying, yeah, these route setters saying the pressure's really on them in this third discipline for them to get it right.
Yeah, it was funny actually, we saw Reini buying a coffee and I said to him, "Hey man, you nervous?" "Yep." They've had a hard week. And now it just becomes incredibly nerve-wracking. They'll be able to draw some conclusions from this, which they might lead them to change slightly the routes for the youth and the juniors, but I doubt it. So, Mori heading towards the very top section of the route. Futaba Ito, her compatriot, has just set a new high point. Again, shouts of Gamba.
She obviously has done
Team Japan
incredibly well this week, but there's many factors. Fatigue could be one of them, skin conditions another. Mori then into the top head wall. This for a potential place. Oh, squeezes it out, potential place on the podium. This is looking good. That's hold 36. She needs to get it matched with that hold beside. She's looking really tired all of a sudden now. We haven't really seen this from her on the lead routes this week. Manages to regain some composure. You can see the mouth just opening there, starting to squeeze now. This is good. Moves up to the left hand. That's hold 38 of a potential 42. Chasing down Futaba Ito's score of 39 plus. Manages to take some chalk on board. Full stretch here, but moves up to the really good left hand. Bumps the right hand up again. That's hold 39. This is looking really good. 41. Oh, looks like she found the top. Mori once again tops out here in Innsbruck. She can't do more than that. An incredible performance.
Superb performance from Mori. Just so you know where that leaves things in the combined rankings. If Mori wins the lead, her final score will be 5. However, if her compatriot Natsuki Tani is second, she will take the overall title. So super tight here. Natsuki Tani would be on a score of 4. That would be 1 in the speed times 2 in the bouldering is 2 times 2 in the lead is 4. So Mori can only watch. If Natsuki Tani finishes 3rd or lower, Mori is the overall champion. Japan already guaranteed to win all 3 medals in this Youth B combined, just as they did in the Youth B female bouldering and Youth B female lead. So all eyes now turn to Tani Natsuki. Needs 2nd or better.
Yeah, it's hers to lose at this point. 1st in the speed, 2nd in the boulder. What can she do on the routes?
Of course, there is an element of judgment to scores. That's why we have human judges, not robots. So if she ends up in that 39-40 section, which would be enough to put her in either 2nd or 3rd, depending on exactly which hold she gets to and how the judges view it, it's going to be very, very tense. We've seen that the route can be topped. Mori's just done it. 6 minutes from now, we will know who is our Youth B combined champion.
There's a high chance also that Natsuki Tani knows what she has to do. She would have heard the applause. She's been behind the wall in the isolation zone. She couldn't see Mori's performance, but there's a good chance she would have heard the MC give her encouragement, heard the MCs talking about the top. So can she handle the pressure?
Just quickly, while she goes to her individual observation, we've still got a packed schedule here in Innsbruck. 4 o'clock, we've got the speed final for the junior males. 4:15, we've got the speed final for the junior females. Then we've got the Youth A male and Youth A female speed round. Then the bouldering, and then the lead for the junior male and female. So still a huge amount to come. Do stay with us.
Natsuki Tani then pulls on for her final climb of the championships. Can she take away the overall win here for the first ever Olympic competition? The new format, never been seen before in climbing. These climbers have taken it on full speed and just done an excellent show for the sport so far. Steady away music, steady away climbing at the bottom of the wall then. The final climber out. It's been an epic day so far. Speed, boulder, then lead. How these athletes have managed to keep it together. It's an incredible show of athleticism. The Olympic motto, higher, faster and stronger, being tested to the fullest here in climbing. Natsuki Tani then into this next section. I'm sure she'll take a bit of a rest here. We've seen that from another of the athletes, Mori, really making the most of this hold 18 of a potential 42. Looking really calm and collected up to this stage. Just moving the feet around, you can see the way she's calculating every sequence as she moves through. So these climbers did have their 6 minutes plus a 40-second observational period to take in these routes, but it really is a true on-site experience. She looks up, looks for the options. So many sequences on this route to make sure you've got right, and each hole tends to be so bad that you really cannot afford to mess up some of the sequences.
Absolutely rattling through the route. Been on it just over 2 minutes. Certainly not hanging around. Doesn't want to increase the tension any further. We'd rather just get the route done.
Goes up to that big cone, white undercut hold. Looked for the options for the left calf wrap. She's got a bit of thinking to do here. Looks like she's gone for the dynamic move. That was risky, but sticks it. She thought she was in a bit of trouble there. That was a really risky move. Decided it was the best method. Didn't bother to think too much about it. Just went for it. Moves the quick draw now. Just swings it towards her. That's good thinking. You see that adopted a lot by climbers on the steep walls. Just push the quick draw to swing it towards you, so when you bring the rope up to it, time it perfectly, get it done, get it clipped.
Really right, nice knee bar for the right leg as well. Such a burly section that's not really got much to do with traditional climbing strength of hands and forearms. It's all biceps and back. And she's back now onto the small holds. The top will do it for her here. It would tire for the lead.
Look how bad that hold is on the right hand. Front 3 fingers plus a thumb catch.
If she tops the route, it will tire in the lead discipline, and that will be enough to win her the overall. But she's got her work cut out.
Risky move now. She seems to have lost the right foot. Tries to go straight off the left hook. Oh, that was an incredible show of strength there. She was coming up short. Looked around for the option, then just pounced for it. That's what we saw from her earlier on in the route. This is looking really good now. 38, 39 already on the board.
This is where it gets tense. She goes up with the left hand. She goes up with the right. She tops the route. She will share the win of the lead discipline, and that will be enough to net her the title. Natsuki Tani is the Olympic format champion. Youth B absolutely flew up the route. She was only on it about 4 minutes, claimed the top, only really took one rest of any significance. Gets the top. takes the title.
Some really good sections on that route. The amount of power that she showed on 2 of those big moves up with the left hand was really impressive. She really deserved that. Natsuki Tani and Mori couldn't have been separated on this route, but it's Natsuki Tani who takes away the overall win based on her previous 2 disciplines. Would have liked to seen a slightly harder route. Route has done a pretty stellar job though all throughout this competition in the Youth B. Really looking forward to more rounds to come this afternoon. Do stick with us. We've got a good stack of hours left of live stream for you guys. There you see it. Mori finds a top. Natsuki Tani also finds a top. Joint first for them. Natsuki takes it. Japan 1, 2, 3 and 4. Japanese contingent will be extremely happy with that. Mustawadi down in 5th.
It's Nai Maignan who rounds out the top 6. Let's just confirm the overall scores for you. So it's Russia and Japan winning the first Olympic format competitions we've seen. Still 2 more to come. Still, unfortunately, those scores not updated just yet. Okay, scores not updating, unfortunately. That's okay. Our website a bit slow. It's probably crashed from all the traffic in Japan.
Great display of lead climbing there from the Japanese. 2 tops. Felt like both climbers could have gone a lot further if the route continued.
As I say, Natsuki Tani in particular reached the top after about 4 minutes. If they'd added another 10 meters, I think she could have done it. She looked to be getting tired, somehow recovered it. Just waiting for the scores to update.
A couple of the replays of the earlier climbs then. That was really impressive through that section. That was Futaba Ito. Excuse me, that was Saki Kikuchi, my mistake. Japanese 1, 2, 3, 4 here. They all got really high up on the route.
Nai Maignan on that same move out to the left.
There was a real stopper early on the route. No climbers actually ended up falling off of it, but they really had to fight through that section, and he really sucked out the power for the later moves.
This was Futaba Ito on that same move. Looked a bit closer for her, one of the taller climbers. This was her again, up to that hole 35. When she came close to the top, this is where she came unstuck. Apologies, we are having some problems updating the score, but the results will be on the IFSC website very shortly. That is the conclusion of the first age group going through the Olympic format. Mike, what did you make of the afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, it was a first for all of us, but it seems to have gone pretty well. Everyone's running around with their calculators and pens and papers just to get used to this new system, but overall, yeah, good competition. Looking forward to more.
Yeah, plenty more to come. Up next, it will be the junior speed. We'll see you at 4 o'clock for that.